Lush, and I'm here outside the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos, I think for the 8th time, with Lucian Tarnowski. Thanks so much for coming back.
Pleasure.
Every year it wouldn't be the same.
It's an annual reunion. It's déjà vu.
So what is new at BraveNew?
So it's been a good year. We're taking on a number of new clients, and we're powering knowledge sharing communities for organizations now like Lockheed Martin, Genentech, Mercer, GE, companies like that, and foundations, and really helping activate collective intelligence. So helping people be smarter, sharing knowledge more effectively, and creating these really powerful communities for change.
Tell me just a little bit about that. So what is a community for change? What happens in one of these things that you create?
Well, if you think about most knowledge gets stuck in silos, it doesn't get shared. I often say the solutions to most problems in the world already exist. They just haven't been scaled.
Right.
They haven't been, evenly distributed. And so what these communities do is they're actually designed to solve a problem. They're designed around a particular purpose. And people work collaboratively, they share knowledge, they highlight best practices, they share resources in an environment where that can get scaled. And so it's in many ways it's trying to mirror what happens in nature with these ecosystems that exist, like a beehive or a termite mound, where people are actually acting in the interests of the collective.
So tell me, do you see that we've seen people acting in the interest of the collective here in Davos? You've been coming for a while.
So this is a really interesting point. It's my 9th year here, and I think I like to think of an Einstein quote where he said, no problem can be solved with the same level of consciousness that created it. I think it's a very valid question here, is are the people trying to solve the problems here, are they disqualified from doing so by virtue of their position in the system? It's a very interesting challenge of where is the new paradigm coming from? And really this question, does something have to die for something to be born? Do we actually need to have destruction of one system,
creative destruction,
to create another one? And I think I'm very interested in the whole consciousness movement, where the big shift, as I see it, is people are approaching the problems as a collective as opposed to a set of individuals. It's all about, in my eyes, surrendering the ego for the interest of the collective. And I think that's a big question here, is who's gaining at the end of the day, and how are the organizations working together to solve these problems, because they're all of our problems, and it's interdependent and interconnected, and all too often people are working in silos, and they're not sharing best practices, they're not collaborating, and I think that's really why I think so often we're tweaking the problems rather than actually fundamentally shifting them.
So it sounds like it's a bit of a passion. Why doesn't BraveNew do something about it?
Well, this is our future. So I think for a long time now we've powered communities for other organizations. We've been really the partner to power these knowledge sharing communities. 2017, what we want to begin is actually powering some of our own around global systemic challenges, and trying to tie that with a model where people can extract value for their contributions. So really trying to design a system where people are able to collaborate much more effectively and get valued for their contributions.
And what are these communities going to be built around? What are the problems you're going to ask them to solve?
Well, my big area for many years has been education to employment. So I think future of jobs is a big area. But I think the interesting thing about communities and the approach to it is it's kind of like the plumbing. It's like the infrastructure behind. So once you have a model, you can scale that model to any global challenge. And so our thinking is, let's get started in the area we know, but let's have a playbook that we can just repeat, and think of it almost like an X Prize meets World Economic Forum meets Hive Mind is how we're thinking about it. And we're in a really interesting position where we get to see a lot of communities each year, what's working, what's not working, where there's opportunities for these communities to exist. And I'm really excited to get stuck in ourselves.
Lucian, thank you so much for stopping by the Hub Culture Pavilion. Every year, I think we're a little bit higher in the air. So who knows? Next year, maybe we'll be on top of that mountain.
And beautiful weather.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Edie.
I'm Edie Lush.